Greetings viewers, how's everyone doing today? First up, we got a little video playing in the background for you. This is the Boston Mark I, the premium tier 2 bomber aircraft that you unlock from the Gaijin D-Day commemorative event. And yeah, we're just gonna watch the first time I really took it out into battle. Did really well in it, handled real nicely. So the new patch has just dropped recently, the 1.41.27.12 patch. Wow. They've added a lot. We'll talk about it a little bit, enjoy the video, but also listen to the soothing sounds of my voice. So alright, new features. So from what Gaijin has posted out, they're talking about network connections have been optimized, aka traffic reduced. To me, that just sounds like, well, we're just, getting better at it. Okay. They've also added crew on open vehicle. Don't completely understand it yet, I'm not going to lie to you. But I'm pretty sure that might be coming into play later on. But they do have new maps. It is outstanding. We finally got another map for our tank battles. It's the Carpathian Mountains, which were nuts during World War II. But more about that later. It's 1.1 kilometers squared. So it's a pretty good sized arena. Pretty good size, I say. It's kind of small. And it's realistic and simulator, it's a 2x2 kilometer square. They've also added 3 other maps for domination. So I've only seen it in the aircraft domination. I don't know if we'll see it with the ground, but it's Berlin, Britain, and Corson. Now I've also seen Caucasus Mountain regions for ground strike, and I forget the name of the other one, but it's another cool map and it's really pretty. We'll have more footage of that coming up in the days later. But now they've done some major changes to the maps that we already have, such as Kuban, Jungle, and Ash River. Kuban used to be my favorite, but Ash River is really, I'm beginning to like that more. It was also in the T50 video. So the changes are, you're no longer anchored to a specific spawn location, and they will be selected randomly at the start of the match and will no longer depend on the nation. So you could be on the east side as Germans, whereas it used to be Russian. So, or the south, or depending on which map, which orientation you're going for. They've also changed to the maps themselves, and there are new events inside Kuban and Ash River that have an impact on the chance to win. Now, when I say impact, I haven't seen them yet. I haven't played much of the tanks to give you a heads up about it, but to me it would sound like more control points or something to destroy, similar to how you have to bomb out the targets before you can destroy the enemy airfield. So let's break it down and look at each map one and one and figure out what's going on. In Kuban, the nice bowl one that's for the Panzer, Ausklärungspanzer T-38 video, and the later half of the T-50 video, the northwest areas of the map used to hold a strategic advantage for that team that spawned there, because you had the higher ground, you had greater sight, and you were able to strike at longer distances while your enemy was on lower ground. So the southeastern portion was specifically targeted, and I would say the northwest was specifically targeted to balance out against the southeastern, and has been lowered. And then now, this is word for word from Gaijin, this should increase game pace on missions that are located on this map and allow armor to change flanks quickly without spending time climbing slopes. So it seems that to balance gameplay, they lowered the terrain. Now that's a good and bad thing in my idea. It's good because, you get into the action quicker, but for me, I kind of like hiding behind hills and popping out and using them as cover. So Ooh, and now there's, in the patch notes itself, it's a mission to capture documents from the crashed aircraft has been added to the domination mode. Now, I'm sure to capture the documents, it would be you have to sit inside a circled off area, and it might be a game winner, or it might just kill your enemy's victory points, such as when you bomb out the enemy bases, the miniature bases, before you go for the airfield. And so there's now a new capture mode, which is your typical, capture the point, in which capture points constantly appear and disappear, and each new zone that appears will grant the team that counts it more points than the previous one. So this sounds like the very familiar Call of Duty version where you would go, and I forget what it was called. I don't believe it was Search and Destroy. Can't remember. It's been a while since I played any of the Modern Warfares. But that sounds exciting. So if your team has one area on lockdown, well, guess what? You're going to have to move and do it again, which I think is fair, and it would provide a lot better gameplay, in my opinion. So, jungle. Some people love it, some people hate it. I love it. I love all that concealment. It's not cover, it doesn't protect you from getting hurt, but it does conceal you. So, from Gaijin's patch notes here, the southern area of the map has been changed significantly. You can use it to fully outflank the enemy, as directly quoted from their patch notes. So that means that the little hillocks on the beach is a part of the location, and you can now fully climb it. And this is a very strategic spot, which I could see being used to engage the enemy at longer distance. So they've also changed the size of the rivers. They are now wider and more shallow. So instead of going, oh please Jesus, get me through, I don't want to drown my crew out, so it helps them. So now you can use the river to cross at almost any point. So they've also changed up the center of the map. There's more routes around the hills and riverbanks, and so it'll actually be closer like Kuban, where you can get behind the enemy. You can outflank them if nobody sees you coming. So, and they specifically called out the bottom respawn on the German side has been sunk lower down to stop the possibility of sniping at it from a distance, as well as removing the ability to fire from it. So that means they're trying to cut down on spawn camping, which, I'm all for. Take a look at that interesting graphical glitch, by the way. That kind of scared me when I did this replay. That's where a couple aircraft had burnt up, and oh, yep, there's the second one. Seamless transition. So now we're busting out the Dornier 217. This isn't the Juliet model. This is the first model. Love it to death. I love big attack aircraft. Lots of power, lots of speed. Not too much on maneuverability, but when you get somebody in your sights, you put the hurting on them. So back to the jungle. So now you have the German side being a lot more balanced out and fair, so you're not going to get spawn capped as much. I say as much because I'm pretty sure it's still going to happen. But I do not agree with the part of not being able to fire from it. If you played any sort of Battlefield game, you know that once you're spawn locked, if you couldn't fire inside your spawn, well, that's it. Might as well just quit the game. So I don't know how that's going to work out. We'll try it out in the next coming weeks, days, months, years. I wouldn't say years, but let's see how it works. They might change it, They could change it tomorrow for all I care. So now my favorite, Ash River. Now they really didn't do much with Ash River. The only thing that they stated as a bullet point was that the hill in front of the northern airfield that was interfering with the respawning of bombers has been removed. Now, I've been avoiding realistic and simulator battles in the ground forces version of War Thunder. I just see it coming into as everybody picking airplanes, and then it just turns into another flight model, and you got one poor sucker in a tank that's getting bombed by multiple bombers or fighters with bombs on them, and I'm gonna try it out, and if it's too much of a rage, Kano, I'm just, I'm gonna write it off and keep playing in arcade. Well, you know, they have also changed up a lot of things with the aircraft. In Operation Roar, the event with spotters was temporarily removed, and it's now an enabled event with AI attackers. So if you play a lot of, you know, if you get stuck in Roar a lot, you know, look out for that. I'm not 200% on that. I don't get Roar a lot, so. But now they've also added more premium vehicles. Give us that money. They have a premium reserve tank, the Panzer Kampfwagen 2, Ausführung C. And Ausführung only means like version. So it's a Panzer Kampfwagen, you know, well, I should say Panzer War Wagon if you're going to translate it completely in English to, you know, version C. And it comes with the African unit paint scheme plus a decal. A premium reserve tank, T-26 with winter camo with the 1st Guard Tank Brigade. So, well, and here they have a caveat for that. Please be aware that if this is the player's first ground vehicle battle using vehicles of the USSR or Germany, they will receive a free premium reserve tank of that country. One or the other of the two, not both, but only if you haven't received the free plane reserve vehicle bonus in the past. So, and then they have a bunch of little points. The KV-1E, T-34 of 1941 variant. The Panzer 470, I should say. The KV-1 Bravo with Finnish Army colors. And then the aviation will be the IL-2M in Avenger paint scheme, LAG 334, HS-129B2 with the Romanian Air Force paint scheme. So, most of these, you know, aside from some of the tanks, are in the game before, but they're letting you get a special version. So that means that you have another IL-2 to play with. I love the IL-2. That thing is a monster. Don't ever go head-to-head with them. Beaufighters, Dorniers, or any such large attacker aircraft with a nose made out of cannons, or nose and wingtips made out of cannons. I'd say wingtips. I'd say the leading edge. So now, Hermann, the German Sherman trophy tank for the premium Germans, the one that, you know, you previously would be one of them offered to get into the premium closed beta. They fixed the armor layout on that, and they improved its damage model on armored plates, which now has a different geometry, which follows the visual model more precisely on the IS-4M and IS-3 tanks. So if you're benefiting from that, or you were cursing the day that you ran into those tanks, be on the lookout for that. They've also had multiple changes to tanks and everything else. They've gone specific tanks, the Panzer, you know, Panzer War Wagon 4 version B. They got new turrets, new cannons, everything else, and so they're, you know, really, I would say, ever since open beta, this is one of the biggest patches we've had for the ground forces themselves. They've changed a lot of the flight models as well. Now, there are, actually, it is really a short list. I'll go through it. You know, light bombers, they don't really go into exactly how they changed it, so you're going to have to, you know, if you didn't play them a lot before, I'm sure you probably won't notice, but if you played them on a consistent basis, I'm sure you'd be able to know. But, you know, if you are watching this video, please tell me in the comments below. I am absolutely 100% supporter of accuracy in this game. So let me know if I've got anything wrong and such. So, alrighty, they've also added a lot of sounds. So the audio will, cannons, engines, so a lot of you propeller heads will be happier that it's if your aircraft just sounded generic, you know, you might, you know, look forward to it. Let's see what they have. Oh, authentic sounds added for the KI-45 and KI-49, all versions. So it seems that my Japanese aircraft will have a different sounding engine. So, you know, then they have a big, long, multiple page part of the other section, you know, types of bots, visual bugs, fixes in the Spain map, you know. In the description below, I'll put a link to Gaijin's patch notes themselves, so you can peruse them at your leisure. But everything else, and one thing that I think that kind of it's going to bug me a little bit is removed what they call cannon parking. It's when you try to aim in the dead zone, barrels will no longer will try to move into a neutral position. So I'd like to get that off my chest. That thank you. That if I looked at a turret dead zone and I was looked all the way to the right, say on the Stug, the barrel would, I didn't notice it much until they said it in the notes, but the barrel would move, would move away. Well, I'm just looking far to the extreme right, and now that, I have shifted my tank to place my frontal armor and the turret at the enemy, and that was like that split second you had to readjust the cannon back to where you wanted it. And especially with Stugs and other tanks destroyers with fixed cannons, fixed frontal cannons with very little traversing and elevation available to them, you gotta you try to angle your armor as much as possible, and you're poking around, and your barrel's just doing whatever the hell it wants to do, and nobody likes that. But so we got a big patch, big update. We have new premium aircraft. One that I really like. Just sucks that it's for the British, because I already have 2 premium British fighters, the Typhoon and the Mustang, which I'm a little upset that the American Mustang is only available with machine guns, and I won't even get with the Fokker-Wulf 190 Dora. We've already had that. It got removed off of Steam Fanboy Rage. But it's a DO-217 D250, and its livery is in the French, the Free French Republic, which operated, in German-occupied France with the Allies. And I'm looking forward to that. It's a $10 pack. Still weighing my options on it. A lot of pack prices have increased for Tier 4 aircraft. Now, some people will be like, oh, Rage, they're just stealing my money. Well, it is a free-to-play game. Let's not forget that, we do enjoy this game, and they are gracious enough to allow us to, one, post videos of their video game on the internet, and as well as allowing us to monetize off of them, placing ads in them. That is very gracious for a free-to-play company. You'd think they'd be tight-lipped. Well, it's an economy model, and if you don't like it, I wouldn't buy it. Starve them out. They'll lower it back down again, or they're going to put it on sale. But it's for those who impulse buy, and I gotta have that aircraft right now. No, not me. I have a lot researched. I'm kind of a little OCD with it. I am researching all the aircraft behind me. I'm mostly Tier 3, aside from my Germans and Japanese, and even with my Germans and Japanese, I do have all, if not 95% of the aircraft unlocked. On the Americans, British, and Russian, I do. But the Germans, that Italian bomber, there's like 4 versions of it, and it stinks. I mean, I love the Junkers 88 with its 20 times 50 kilogram firecrackers, and then you can unlock an extra 4 250 kilograms, and now recently today, I got it yesterday, and today I unlocked the 500 kilogram bombs on it. And the great part about it is, it's part dive bomber. I don't know if this is intentional or not, but you can nose down, point it at a base, the reticule still stays closed, there's little to no spread, drop 24 bombs, and in Tier 2 matches, it absolutely destroys these little tiny bases. But this match ends. I'm coming in for a landing to repair. One of my engines was shot up pretty bad, and I believe I was losing some control surface. Come on, you big old bird, just get down on the ground and stay there. Yep, use the cannons. That's another trick I'd highly enforce, is using your cannon's recoil to slow you down on the ground. Believe it or not, it actually works. The bigger the cannon, the more power. But thanks everybody for watching and paying attention to my patch notes. See you out there in the battlefield. Have fun. throw a like, comment, and subscribe for me. Let me know how you're liking things and how you're liking this channel. And thank you for helping it grow. Taylor Scrim,